Okay, hi everyone. We're back, and so now we're going to have our discussion around the funding for all the applicants of the discretionary fund. And first up, we have Central Kids Hazelmere Kindergarten. So they were wanting to replace outdoor blinds. They've requested $5,500. I have a little cross here to say that their accountability paperwork was not presented to council in 2019, and they either didn't apply in 2020 or were declined in 2020. So that's just a bit of background information. So as we'd agreed that we were going to go through each of us and do our amounts and then average them out, I'll just go around and we'll just say how much we were wanting to give or not and go from there. So Richard, you're on my left. I'll start with you.
$1,000.
Okay. Jill?
2,500.
Sorry, 2,500?
2,500.
Yep. Susan? Oh no, you're not allowed. You're excluded for that one, eh? Lou?
I think it's drawing a long bow, but in the interest of trying to keep it all clean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, $1,500.
1,500, and I'd put down for 2. And Kane's not here, of course.
So I've come up with an average of 1,750.
Okay. And you'll keep a running total for us, eh?
Yep.
And Brad, if you're really good, you'll be doing it as well to double check that Kieran's right. That's what Sally did.
I'm on it.
No, you don't have to. It's all right. Kieran will be fine. Right, so the Parish of St John, they're wanting to paint the exterior of the parish hall, and they have requested $15,000. So Richard, you're still sitting on my left, so we'll go back to you.
Yeah, I'll give them 5.
Okay, Jill?
5,000, and I don't know if it's appropriate to say it now, but there's a few people wanting painting done, and quite often Dulux or Resine will give them paint for nothing, you know, so or a very reduced cost. So it's just worth letting these people know that.
Yep. Lou?
He indicated that he
because he's sorry, he did too. Ours is on that. And I've put down for 2.
So that's given us a average of 1,666.67 cents.
Okay, thank you. Right, Rosebank Art Centre, they were requesting operational expenses. They did receive funding in 2019 of $2,000. They didn't send back their accountability paperwork, and this year they're requesting $5,000. So I've just got a quick comment. They do a great job down there on a very limited budget. So what have we got for them, Richard?
2,000.
2?
Yes.
Okay, Jill?
5,000.
5 for Jill. Susan?
I just really struggled with this one on account of it being operational expenses, and I know everybody's in a bit of it's tough out there, I get that, but I didn't feel like this had a kind of plan, a future plan. It doesn't seem to me like there's any I feel like it's stopgap funding before things get super grim and they have to close up. And I wonder if maybe they could have looked, I know they've got money in the past from Creative Communities, but maybe they could have been looking at that Creative Communities Fund and, you know, been a bit creative around how they managed to acquire that funding, because it just doesn't seem to me like there's a future plan there to reform or to find any alternative forms of funding for them. So, yeah, look, I struggle to offer them anything, and which is probably where I sat. I mean, I guess maybe 1,000 at a push, but
okay.
I have the sense it might be just delaying the inevitable for them. There doesn't seem to be any real vision going forward about how they're going to get themselves out of what is a dire situation, and it's not a reflection on the work they do, it's just a reflection on the times.
They possibly got caught a bit short by Enrich Plus not stopping using them that they might not have foreseen, I suppose.
Yeah,
too.
for sure. But I guess I'm kind of saying it would have been nice if there'd been some further consideration given to other alternatives, I suppose, and looking forward what their strategy is. Otherwise, it just becomes this dependency sort of cycle on us, doesn't it? So,
Yep, no, good point.
so
Lou.
chuck me in for
Just a-
grand.
Oh, so 1 for you still? Yep, 1 for Susan. Lou, sorry.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I actually quite agree with Susan, but I'll put them in 1,500.
And I had them in for 2.5.
So I've come up with an average of 2,400.
Okay. The next one is the Te Awamutu District Memorial RSA, and they were requesting funds for Anzac Day celebrations with the sound system and armistice, and then storage for the white crosses, and they have asked for $4,000 to go towards both of those things. So we've got Susan up first on my screen.
Yeah, look, I have, I think supporting them in terms of that sound system is a really cool idea. It's something that is a pretty significant event on the community calendar. Don't know how it's going to look this year. It's still a little bit in the open, but I have no difficulty with supporting them with their sound system. I'm not sure about the cross storage. Yeah, surely there are some other ways that they can look at storing it. So I'm happy to support them with their sound system for now.
Okay, so 1470.
Yeah.
Or hang on, actually, I need to double check. Wait, that was last year's.
1460 plus in 5. So
Yep,
14,
I was going to say I'm
1460 and 50 cents.
Cool. Got that, Kieran?
1460.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
Righto. Richard, sorry, no, Jill, you're next on my thing.
$1,000.
1,000. Richard?
It's conflict of interest. It's just 3 of you.
Oh, he did too. Sorry, he did. Sorry, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to go with 2.
So that comes up with $1,666.67.
Cool. Right, next on the list is the Te Awamutu Brass Band, and we didn't have anyone with conflict of interest for that one this year, eh? So they would like to do a bathroom upgrade. In 2019, they had $500. They didn't provide their accountability. 2020, they had $1,750, and they did provide their accountability. And this year, they're asking for $1,000 to go towards that bathroom upgrade. So Susan, you're still sitting on my top row. So I'll go to you, please.
Yeah, look, as I recall, if I recall correctly, this is Brad might be able to tell me. This is a council-owned building, isn't it, Brad?
I don't think.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it?
Is it?
Sorry, just to clarify, the Te
It's the
Awamutu Brass Band, is it the
brass
Rotunda
band.
in Victoria?
No,
No,
it's the one next to the TA Sports.
Yeah, Rugby and Sports on Albert Park Drive. I didn't think they were.
I'm fairly certain it is. I'm fairly
I'm not
certain it is.
sure. I know there's a lease there. I wouldn't know off the top of my head, sorry, about who's got the ownership of it.
Richard, do you remember if it's owned by council?
I don't, yeah, I'm not sure, but we've actually been asked to support them for maintenance and bits and pieces in the past.
I didn't think it was.
Because
I think you're right, Madam Chair, that the TA Sports is built on the actual ground that is owned by council.
Yeah,
just
they lease
wonder,
the ground,
and
but I think they
I
own
think
the
they
building.
own the
It's
ground,
their
but the building is owned by the brass band. That's why they need the maintenance. And I'll stand up and just say give them the 1,000 because I know they don't raise very much money.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do too. I'm sure they own it. Just trying to remember back from conversations with Gary and different things that had come up previously. Right. So Susan, have you got an amount or do you want to
come
think
back
a
to
minute?
me? Come back to me. I mean, I have no difficulty with community groups coming to us, but I just feel that they always come to us, and I wonder how much of their own kind of fundraising that they do, I suppose. That's all. So go on to somebody else and I'll have a rethink, because
I do believe they do quite a lot. Like they do the Christmas thing every year. They made all those COVID masks previously. And that's just two of the things I know, and I don't really have much to do with the brass band, but I know they try and do a lot of fundraising, and a lot of their fundraising goes towards instruments and things like that. So of which are pretty expensive from what I understand, if you've got to buy one of those big trumpet things. I'm not quite sure what they're called, but anyway, Richard, have you got an amount?
I'm the same as Susan. I think we've supported them over the last couple of terms fairly well.
Yep. Okay. Yep. All right. So nothing from you. Okay, Jill.
Definitely $1,000. They need a new bathroom. Definitely.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Lou?
I'm just getting on there. Yeah, I still say the $1,000 because, as I say, the instrument costs are horrendous. They are.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
you know.
And I've put them down for 1,000 too, because they do a great community service, and yeah, and things like bathrooms are important to have, you know, decent facilities as well. So that's all of us, I think, Karen, isn't it?
So at the moment, I've got 2 zeros and $3,000. So an average of $600.
Okay.
Look, I'll add in 500. Yeah, it's not going to go far. They're not exactly going to have a palatial bathroom, are they? But
No,
if it helps them.
They didn't
and
ask for a
it did
lot.
sound pretty crummy.
That brings it up to $700.
Cool. Better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Alrighty, so now we're going to ask Richard to take over and chair the meeting for the following applicants, because I have a conflict of interest. So can I please move that Richard Hurrell takes over as chair of the meeting for the Te Awamutu Chamber of Commerce, the Te Awamutu Combined Churches and Community Food Bank, the Te Awamutu Māori Women's Welfare League, and the Te Awamutu Rose Society Incorporated. Can I have someone to move that? Susan, I think you said you would.
You moved it, I've seconded.
Oh, sorry, yes, you're totally right. Anyone, everyone in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. All yours, Richard.
Oh, lovely, lovely.
I promise I won't talk. I'll mute myself.
That'll be difficult. You'll find that hard. Okay, we've got the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah, asking for Midnight Madness support of $2,700. So, Susan.
I'll kick it off, Richard. I'm really bamboozled by this application. I've read it and I felt that I must have been missing some pages. I couldn't really at all understand what it was about. There's no real clarity around what they are wanting to do here. From what I can ascertain, the $2,700 is to cover the costs of hiring a bunch of rubbish bins and a portaloo. And there's no real explanation as to what Midnight Madness is. The description is that it's a great community event in the heart of Te Awamutu with the opportunity for all retail and hospitality business to be involved and benefit. So it doesn't really explain what it is. And I guess I was originally wondering whether maybe it was food trucks were coming back on account of all the rubbish bins. I don't know. I just couldn't work it out. So in lieu of there being a clear and comprehensive explanation for what the funding assistance was sought for, I would have to say zero. And that's not to say that I don't think that the Chamber of Commerce doesn't have a place in trying to invigorate the retail and hospitality offering in Te Awamutu, but it's just unfortunate that they seem to have fallen short in terms of the description of what they're wanting here.
Okay, Jill.
Without reading all the paperwork, Susan, I thought I read exactly what it was and it sounded great, but I've got all this here now and I haven't looked back, but I thought I read what it was about, thought what a great idea. And my bit of paper explained what it was, and I'll give them $1,000. Thank you.
Thanks, Jill. Lou? You're on mute.
You're on mute, Lou.
Mute again. Yeah, I was a bit like Susan. I sort of looked at it, but yeah, fair enough. If it's the food trucks coming back, a lot of our local retailers got a bit upset with them. Yeah, and I dealt with that a little bit in our own my own life. So yeah, but I'm keen that they promote it. So $1,000. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I actually agree with Susan. But I'd like to know when it is and what it is. I know what Midnight Madness was in the past, and whether it's the actual same thing. So, do we want some more clarity, or do we want to go with what we've had on offer?
Can you? Look, I'm clearly a bit deficient here. I didn't read what Jill has read in her papers, and I don't know what Midnight Madness is either, Richard. So, can either of you clarify for me what it is? Because I guess I saw the bins and thought, well, this must mean that there's been lots of rubbish created, and that to me meant food trucks and a portaloo. I don't know, was there a band playing? I don't know, it was a little bit like one of those whodunit mysteries, trying to work out what had happened.
Jill.
I am looking at my reading now, Susan.
And can I just say this is killing Ange right now?
I guess, and I'm looking back at the reading now that I read, and I guess the first thing I saw was organising a Midnight Madness event just for one day, the 25th of November. So no, it doesn't actually say exactly what they're going to do that day, just that they want to include the whole town, family and friends on that one day, one night. So whether they've got it all worked out exactly what it is, and it doesn't say food trucks are coming to town like you thought maybe all the rubbish bins, but I just imagined before I moved here, when in our little town we had something like that every second year, and it was just the whole town, the main street was blocked off, and you just had all the shops open. Everybody went to town in their 90s, but it doesn't say exactly what they're going to do, but just that they want to do something for everybody on that one particular day or night. So Midnight Madness means that the shops are open till midnight, but no, it doesn't actually say, but it's just the idea that we want to recover, we want everyone to have a fun night. Yeah, so why not? Yeah.
Okay. I'd like a little bit more information, but so we've got two supporting it at the moment. Karen, how do we get on with that?
Certainly at the moment. So I've got 2 zeros and 2 1,000s, which averages out at $500.
Okay.
Can I just express my concern that we're essentially allocating ratepayer money for something that we have no idea what it is?
Yes, I'm a little bit worried. I'd actually.
Can we ask the Chamber of Commerce to come? Do we have time for the Chamber to come back with some more information to us? Or is there a hard and fast, we've got to, because I mean, I'm not doubting that it could have great merit, but you can't fire a deficient application away and expect us to give money on what we assume or think or remember it might have been.
Yeah.
So Kieran or Joe, do we have to make a decision hard and fast, or can we defer this one, perhaps let it lie on the table and invite the Chamber to clarify for us what actually is proposed by that day? Or I mean, when does it start? Is it going to be road closures? You know, is there going to be a ban? You know, what does it look like? I just think it would be really, really wrong of us to allocate ratepayer funding for something that we have no real understanding on. But I'm sure that they have got a great idea there somewhere, but we have to know what that is before we throw money at it.
Good question, Susan. I guess we could, last time we had the first round of funding, the Rose Society put in an application. It was declined by the Te Awamutu Community Board, and then it was revisited the following month with further information. So I guess there is that option there.
I would prefer that we did that, just let the whole application rest until we get some clarity. That's where my vote would be.
Okay.
Or it's 0 from me.
How do you, Jill and Lou, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm fine for that. I just thought maybe it was meant to be a surprise, but I understand from where Susan's coming from. We just can't give it away when we don't know. So I think it would be good to hold off for a month. Yeah.
It was a surprise for us. Yeah. Lou?
Well, actually, it could go into the next round.
Yeah, could do too.
Bearing in mind the next round is September this year. I don't know when the
event is in
November the 24th.
Oh, okay. So yes, it can go in the next round. Yes.
Okay, so we'll decline that one. Combined churches are asking for $1,000 to provide council rubbish bags and toiletries for every food parcel.
These people do a very, very good job, Richard, and I do know that what they're trying to do is get the people to put their rubbish, instead of leaving it under bridges, lying around behind the centre over here at the the church and everywhere else, and by the sports club, put it in a rubbish bag at least, and giving them something to keep themselves a little bit cleaner. So I do support it for the full amount.
Okay, Jill.
Yeah, $1,000. Yeah, I've got down.
Okay, Susan.
My understanding is the MSD will throw money at this quite easily if they're approached and asked through the appropriate channels. So there's been significant amount of funding available, in fact, fairly recent announcements in that space. So if central government is willing to support the costs for these sorts of things, I think it should be coming from them and not ratepayer money, to be fair. So they just have to understand how to apply for it, and maybe they could approach say Corinne or Gina, because they have connections into those places, fairly strong ones, and they might be able to assist them. But I know that MSD do have significant funding available. Would that be a fair assessment, Corinne? Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Lou. There you go.
Yeah, the problem with the funding that's coming from central government, it goes into administration. It doesn't get down to the fields. It's unfortunate. It's very hard to get it to the people that are donating. The money and even the meals and everything are donated. So it's a very, very difficult situation. Very easy to just ran it and say central government are doing things, but I'm a councillor, and one thing I've learnt in council is that when central government do things, that often filtrate right down to where it needs to go. It often just gets lost in the system.
Okay, I understand that they got considerable funding through COVID times for the food bank, and huge amount of support. So I've actually got them down for nothing on this one. So how's that go, Karen?
So same again as last time, 2 1,000s and 2 zeros. I'm assuming, Susan, yours was 0, so it comes to an average of $500.
Cool. Okay, we move on to the Maori Women's Welfare League. They want to renew their community garden and are asking for $2,250.
Give them the lot. Give them the whole lot. Absolutely. This is 100% in the wheelhouse of what these funds are for. It's COVID recovery, resilience, building food security, all the things that our funds are supposed to be focused on. and I understand that they have really strong improved relationships with the kihi ratepayers and residents association, which is meaning that there is going to be longevity in that very long established group now going forward. So look, I'm 100% behind this, and I wish they'd asked for more. So it's a yes from me.
Oh, Jill.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've got $2,000. I don't think it would even cost that much to do what they're wanting, but I've got $2,000.
Okay. Lou, thank you.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get back in, Richard. I was out there on the other day, talking to them, and they are definitely doing quite a lot of renovation out there. The big problem is that the gardens have gone stale, and they're just getting them to get some new staff in there. So I support the full amount. I think I totally agree with Susan that they're doing a great thing. They're feeding the community. I was amazed at the people that were stopping off at the Kai box. How many people were there? And I was there for half an hour or so. Could not believe people just dropping in and people you wouldn't expect picking up out of it. So they do a great service. They do a really good service out there.
Yeah.
I agree too, and I will give the full amount as well. So,
Sorry, Lou, I missed your amount. What was it? Was it the full amount as well, or?
That was correct, Karen.
Yeah.
So the average is 2,187 and 50 cents.
50 cents, lovely. Okay, the Te Amiru Rose Society are asking for name labels for rose plants and the purchase of additional roses. They're asking $873.02. Okay, Jill.
$500.
500.
Yep.
Susan, are you involved in this? Or
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find what I wrote, but I can remember off the top of my head. It doesn't really fit the criteria in terms of being COVID recovery. And I'm kind of just curious as to how this fits in terms of the, where is it? In terms of the plan, the Memorial Park concept plan. Where are my notes? I did have it written down somewhere here. So how does a renovation of that, or the work on that colonnade, it's called, is that the right word? And that how does that merge in and dovetail with the Memorial Park concept plan? Brad, are you able to tell me whether it's kind of in keeping with, it's not sort of flying in the face of what we're kind of intending to do there?
Sorry, Member Irene, I was distracted by counting numbers there. Can you repeat the question?
Oh, so where is it? I wish I had my notes here. I can't find them. The Rose Society is looking for money to cover the costs to and to do work on the, what do they call it? How do they describe it? The pergola colonnade on the Waipa District War Memorial Park, and add labels and names. And I'm just wondering whether that's in keeping with what the concept plan was for the Memorial Park that that council approved. Was it last year now?
Yeah, right.
Does it sit in this? Does it work with that? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it does. So there is some signage elements to that concept plan, and so this is something that would fit within that camp, and it's something that we've got planned directly to do ourselves as council. But if the War Memorial working group that's down there with the Rose Society want to do that, then we'd support that.
okay, so how does that go for you, Susan?
I'm just looking at the amount that they've got there. The amount they've requested is $873. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just conscious because it doesn't really fit with like the COVID recovery and resilience in that space. But I guess it is a public facility that a wider benefit is derived from for the community in a open space kind of reserve space. So I'm comfortable with assisting them, probably to $600, say.
Okay, thank you. And I'm happy to give 500.
So that's average of $533.33.
533.
Why don't we just round it up to 600?
Yeah.
Richard, do you have any issue with that?
No, I don't. Jill, you don't have an issue?
No, that sounds perfect. Yep, great.
Thank you. Okay, how's your tongue, Ange? Must be pretty sore.
She's on mute
Yeah.
still.
I think I should not have been declared it as a conflict of interest, but I just said that I had association and was able to rectify some misinformation that we've based decisions on. But that's not to be. So we will move on. The Te Awamutu Community Health Transport would like assistance with running health shuttles. And they hadn't applied in the last few years, and they're requesting $2,000. So Susan, you're sitting out of this one. Is that right? Or are you not? I mean,
No.
your mum
Not
was
really.
on
I
it.
don't derive any
really
benefit from
see-
it.
Personally, I don't see that you have a conflict of interest.
No,
so
neither
I'm
do
happy
I.
for you to participate, but
It was in the interest of transparency. I thought I'd just throw it out there. If anybody had any great reason for me not to be involved, then I would easily step aside, but I don't think I'm conflicted.
so an amount.
I'm comfortable with the whole lot. I mean, fuel costs are absolutely mental, as we all know, and that's basically what they do. So, and they do a great service to the community, always well patronised, and yeah, great volunteer base, quite broad across the town. So I'm happy to support them with the whole lot.
Cool. Jill?
Yeah, I am too, because the amount people pays for the petrol on their trip, but doesn't pay for anything else to do with the vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you. So 2 for you. Richard?
Yes, the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Follow.
And I'd
Yeah.
put down Lou,
Yep, full amount.
full amount, and I was the same for them too. They do a great job.
I think it's pretty easy to say that was $2,000 to them.
Okay, Te Awamutu Community Men's Shed, they are needing to repaint the men's shed. They hadn't made any previous applications or were declined, and they are asking for $1,240. So Susan?
Yep, I like the whole lot. I think that there aren't many sort of men's only kind of organisations, and this is a really good one. They do lots of cool stuff around the place. Pretty low cost sort of organisation. They haven't sought the whole amount, so they're prepared to find other ways of offsetting the costs. And I think also there's, they do have a lot of retired, particularly farmers or, more physically active kind of people who, find a real niche in life after the farm there, which I think is really important to support in our community. So I'm quite happy with giving them the whole lot.
Cool. Jill?
Yeah, I'm happy with the full amount too. But again, as I mentioned earlier, when people are looking at painting things, if they need more paint, just to contact Dulux or Resine and they'll give them paint or a heavy discount. So they may not be aware of that. Yeah.
Richard?
Yeah, the full amount.
Lou?
Full amount.
And I was a full amount as well. Right. Te Awamutu Community Toy Library, they were wanting some help with operating costs. They had been, I believe, very impacted by COVID lockdowns, and they've asked for $2,000. So again, we'll start at the top. Susan?
Oh, look, I feel for this organisation because, it's one that obviously has provided a lot of joy to a lot of families over the years, but I do wonder about its longevity in this sort of environment with COVID. I mean, you look at things like, I know, medical centres, they used to have toys out and they used to have magazines and things. And I just think that that close contact, sharing things, look at the way kids, play with toys and stuff. I just wonder whether that model has much longevity going forward in the pandemic era, which is what we're assured that we're now in. So as much as it sort of breaks my heart to an extent, I don't think I'd feel comfortable supporting them with ratepayer funding at this point, because I'm not sure that this is a notion that's going to exist for a great deal longer, a little bit like United Video and Video Easy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if it's gone its full course. So it's nothing for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Jill?
I've got $500.
Richard?
I hear what Susan had to say, and perhaps a small contribution could be used to help them get all their toys returned, and perhaps start looking at dispensing with them in another way, another format, somehow paying them off or something. So I'd give them $500.
Lou? You're on mute.
Yeah, I am. I'm always on mute, so I've got to keep doing it. Hey, no, I tend to agree that this is something that with COVID it is going to change quite a lot. So whether we look at this, but I'll say $500, but they've got to really look at their model, maybe change it a little bit, because they'd have to isolate or everything. What, are they going to sterilise all their toys each time, or what are they going to do? It's quite a problem, isn't it? But
Yeah, well, they
I'll give them
have
the
to.
500.
Yeah, so it's the same as the Space Centre. We have to sterilise all the toys that are available for kids to play with there. So
Yeah.
it's actually not any different. So because they've been adversely affected by COVID, and I don't think it's actually, we don't know that they haven't discussed a new course, a plan to be able to continue into the future. It might look quite different with what they do. So I'd like to at least bump them up a bit. So I'm going to give them the full amount.
So that's come to an average of $700.
Okay, done those two. Te Awamutu Rugby Sports and Rec. They are needing to install a security camera, and they are down for $901. It's got down here that they didn't apply for any previously, but I thought we'd given them some money last time for some walkie-talkie radios.
No, that was the Te Awa Rugby Referees Association.
Ah, righto. Cool. Thanks for that clarity. Thank you. Right, Susan.
Yeah, look, I'm all for this one, a whole lot. And from my perspective, I mean, there's no secret that there's been a steep increase in crime and criminal activity around the place since COVID. And I think it's important that the integrity of those buildings are protected as best we can.
Cool.
So yeah, it's a full amount for me.
Okay, cool. Jill?
And you can never have too many security cameras around the place, can you?
Not really. Not really. Jill?
$500, thank you.
Richard?
Yeah, the full amount.
Lou? Oh no, you're not allowed. Me, I'm the full amount as well.
So that's come to an average of $800.75.
Okay, Te Awamutu Youth Development, they want money to go towards staff salaries. We gave them $5,000 in 2019. We gave them $2,000 in 2020. I think that was towards the lockers. And this year they are asking for $16,894. So, Susan.
Yeah, I struggled with this one. Yeah, I struggled mostly with the proposed just under $4,000 trip to Wellington. It looked kind of fun. So I thought that the benefit that's the number of people that could benefit seemed reasonably narrow given the quantum of money that was being proposed to be spent. And I don't know that as much as I'm all for encouraging girls and young women into sport. I'm not sure about whether there was any real need, I mean, for that. Somebody can't control. I'm welcome to be persuaded, but yeah, that was sort of my observation. And so, I mean, 16,000 is an awfully large sum. 13 of which is for 2 coaches. It just struck me as being a very significant amount to be seeking. So I guess in the interests of being supportive, because they do some great work, I would probably only look at about maybe 2,000 at tops.
Cool. Thank you. Jill?
Because mainly it is the salaries, I've got 0 against this.
Okay, thank you. Richard?
Yeah, I read it that very small group going on a trip to Wellington, and I found that a little difficult to understand, and also that they are reasonably well off, what I see. So I'd still support them because they do good work, and there are a number of kids involved. I'd give them 1,000.
Okay, thank you. Lou? You're on mute.
Always do this. I just wonder a little bit about this one. We've got so many people with these development trusts or something like this. You've also got all your sports clubs. You've also got all the infrastructure that's out there for all your individual sports as well, trying to promote people playing it. Netball, for example, volleyball, lacrosse, all of those things. I just think that here, maybe $1,000 from me, because I think there's a lot of these other people are taking no salaries. They're doing it all voluntarily. And I know there's a cost to being a coach. I'm very, very aware of that. But here, it's just doesn't sit that well. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, yeah, I certainly couldn't justify giving them the whole lot, and I'm sort of a little bit reluctant to move into that staff salary space anyway, and to be having places start to rely on us to provide salaries. I think we really don't want to be going there. But like Susan and Richard, these guys do an amazing job, and I've seen some kids, turnarounds with kids from the work that they do with the kids. So I do want to help them. So I've put down for 2.
So that's come up with an average of $1,200.
Okay, well, it helps. Righto, the Te Tamawai Trust for their Taku Wairua Kura program, and they hadn't applied to us before, and they're asking for $3,500. Susan?
Yeah, very interesting outfit, obviously based in Hamilton, so they're not local. I like the 4 pillars of the work that they focus on, and they've got some pretty cool stories embedded if you do some deep reading into some of the resources they have available on the internet about their work. Very well supported, very professional, but I guess looking at what is on offer in our schools here, I understand that Ollie from TA Sports goes out to both Pirongia and Kihikihi and offers the PE curriculum at those 2 schools currently. And I guess reading this, and I understand that it's actually really hard to get into schools to do that. So it's not just rock up one, with your bat and ball and away we go. It's quite a complex and difficult process. And I sort of got the sense from the application that they were seeking funding so that then maybe they were going to approach the schools. It sort of wasn't clear it didn't seem clear to me that the schools themselves were wanting this or confirmed that they were after it. So, and with the knowledge, as I say, that I have that TA Sports send out Ollie there in replace of the Sports Waikato work that used to go on in that space, I kind of wonder about whether the schools are actually aware of this being in play and So I didn't feel very comfortable about that. And I do think that the fact that they are external, external to our district, means that sometimes these people miss the tapestry of our district. The inside goss, the history, the context of families, places, schools, all those sorts of things, which I think an external to Waipa provider would really miss. So, and I'm also aware that there is a local couple looking to try and get into the space on a more permanent basis. So I guess I didn't feel that this was particularly need focused. So from me, it's a no. Yeah.
Okay, Jill. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry,
I've got
thanks,
a-
Susan.
So yeah, I've got a no too. And especially, I suppose they are in a few schools, but not many, and not in Te Awamutu either. But although, it covers the whole Waipa area, but it's a no from me. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Jill. Richard?
No from me.
No from you. Lou? No, you're on mute.
Turn off. Yeah, it's a no from me. And my reasoning is that I do know Ollie's actually expanded with his team quite a bit with TA Sports. So they're not just in 2 schools, they're in quite a number now. And they're working very hard at developing that and filling that role that was done by Sports Waikato traditionally. So they're working very hard and they're looking for funding all the time. So really, it is something that I would rather see us focus on our local people that have got a proven record and are in place.
Cool,
Totally
okay.
agree. Totally agree, Lou.
And yeah, I was going to support them because I thought it sounded really good, and I like that Te Ao Māori aspect that is woven through this program that obviously Ollie is not going to be providing. However, Susan, you've raised a really good point that I just now don't feel comfortable giving an external organisation funding for something that isn't guaranteed that they have got the nod from Kihi School, which is the only one that, that is in our district, because Pirongia and Hinapuri are under the Pirongia Ward Committee. So in light of that, I'm going to say no, but can we just ask them that, when they have confirmation of exactly what they're doing, and have confirmation from the school or schools within the Te Awamutu and Kihi district, that we would be open to revisiting it. I don't think that, if the schools are keen to have them come, then I don't see that it would be something that we should say no to just because they are from out of the district. I mean, we do support plenty of organisations that bring services into our district. So that's them done and dusted. Waikato Community Hospice Trust. So they would like some help again to cover the lease of the hospice shop. They got given $1,500, and I'm pretty sure it was to cover the lease of the hospice shop in 2020, and they have asked for $2,000 this year. So Susan?
Oh, look, these guys do so much good work. So I think 2,000. I hate the idea we're having to help them cover overheads, but they do a lot of great outreach into families when they're at their time of need. So look, I have no difficulty with supporting them for the full amount.
Cool, thank you. Jill?
Yeah, the same, it's 2,000. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Richard?
Well, I think we had discussion on our first round about this, that they were asking for rent, and that we declined them in that first round. I'm involved with an organisation that has a similar sort of conducts a similar sort of activity, and there's huge amount of money made from these shops, and they are in every town. Hospice are in every town, and they do fabulous work. I know that, but I would give them $1,000 towards their rent.
Cool, thank you. Lou?
Yeah, I'd give them an amount. I think they do a great job within the community, and they're only asking really for the lease of the shop. It's not a rent or anything, it's just a lease. So yeah, but on the grounds that we need these sort of people because there's nothing supporting the elderly. Having worked with a little bit with elderly, you notice that there's a big cut-off there at times when people get to the stage that they need this sort of service. They do offer a very good service, and it has to be
So you're
funded.
doing the full amount?
Full amount.
Okay. Cool, thank you, Lou. And I'd put down for $1,000 towards them because yeah, I know of where Richard is and yeah, know a little bit about it too, and I think at least that I'd like to support them, but $1,000 from me.
So it's come up with an average of 1,600.
Cool. Well, there's the inflation from 1,500 to 1,600. There you go. Righto, and finally we've got the Zion Church Trust for the Shine Collective, and this was to provide assistance to the Shine Girl program. They made an application in 2020 for $1,500, and their accountability information wasn't returned, and they are requesting $2,500. And again, we'll go to Susan because she's at the top, and that way I don't miss anyone out.
Yeah, look, these people have they apply almost every year, don't they? And I think every year we say the same thing, that they haven't thanked us.
They haven't thanked us. Oh,
They
yeah.
haven't thanked us through the accountability kind of stuff. And every year we say this is something that benefits only a very small number of people, young women. Yeah, look, I struggle with this one a little bit on account of the lack of accountability. And a few other sort of things. Oh gosh, it's so hard, isn't it? I'm inclined to say nothing. Personally, that feels mean, but yeah.
Okay, so 0 from you.
0 from me.
Okay, Jill.
Yeah, I had a bit of difficulty with it too because we've discussed it before. I'm just going to go 400.
Okay, 400 from Jill. Richard?
This is basically a closed group as well, isn't it? From within their group, is it not?
No, they do these at the primary school and at the intermediate.
No,
It's kids put forward by the teachers. It's not that the kids that go on that do the Shine Girl program have got not necessarily anything to do with the Zion Church. The people that facilitate the course provide their time as volunteers from the church. They include people like Melissa Atwood, Jenny Yandley, 2 of the ladies that I know. I believe Shani Budd may. I would stand to be corrected on that one, but I've got a funny feeling Shani had something to do with it as well. But I stand to be corrected on Shani because I know she's very busy with the Loving Arms. But definitely Jenny and Melissa have been instrumental in facilitating that program.
Yeah, no, it's a small number. I'd like to see our funding go towards affecting more people. So I'll decline, thank you. Okay,
cool. Lou?
We've had this discussion, as you said, and it seems to be an annual one. So I'm in line with everyone else.
Okay, and I know what good job they do and the benefits that those kids get. And this is, I think, their 3rd year of helping kids. And so if you look at it over the bigger picture and the total number of kids that they've helped, it's the difference between some of these kids actually not going anywhere, not going on to be anything because they don't believe in themselves. So in light of the fact that they're not getting much from us, I'm going to say the whole amount from me, so at least they get something towards it, even though they do need to pull their finger out with their accountability. So
Just to
I'll remind
clarify-
Phil Strong of that yet again. 'cause
Just to
next time I
clarify,
might be so kind. So what do we end
Brown.
up with? Oh,
So
Brad?
it's,
just to clarify, Member Brown, was that nothing that you're providing, or was
Well, I've given it, yeah, I've given it a little bit of thought since you've said that, and I'll put 500 in as well, just to give them something. Okay.
so that's
Just to-
given us an average of $680.
That's all of them, eh? I haven't missed any.
That's a lot of them. So there's one thing, there's two at the beginning that I did a miscalculation on, and I said it was $1,666.67, and it was actually $1,486.83. However, bearing in mind that you still got $11,127.58 left over, did you want to revisit?
Okay, so do we want to round any of these up or just tidy them up a little bit?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So we've got Central Kids at $1,750. What do we got? St John's at $1,486. So do we want to bump that up to 2,000? Seeing as
Yep.
that, you know, they do. I mean, huge numbers of people use that hall. It is a really goodie. What do we got? The Rosebank Arts Centre. They had 2,400.
No, I think that should remain with the discussion we've had.
Yep, that's all good.
just to
little
clarify, Madam,
RSA 1,600. You happy to leave that there?
just to clarify, Madam
Brad.
Chair, I think
Oh,
we've
Brad,
got some,
sorry.
as we go through these, we need to note conflicts still as we're going through these roundups.
Yeah,
I'm just reading out the amounts. I'm not
Yeah,
going
no,
to
I'm just
participate
noting.
in it.
Yep.
I'm not participating. I'm just asking if what everyone wants. But good point. So Tiamutu Brass Band was 700.
So, sorry, Madam Chair, what was the RSA one? Was that remaining at 1,666 and 67 cents? Or that one should have been actually 1486.83.
Oh, hang on.
why don't we put it up to, so it's currently 14, yeah?
It's currently 14, yeah.
Why don't we put it up to 15
1,500.
or 2,000? Does anybody other than Lou express an opinion on that one?
No.
Just
Jill?
1,500.
15?
What's our next one, Kieran? The brass
So,
band?
brass brand, it's been given $700.
Leave that as is. Yep.
Chamber
I'd-
of Com.
Oh,
Sorry.
sorry, Lou.
Yeah, I was happy with the brass band going to 1,000. I was very keen on that. Yeah, toilet.
Yeah, I am too, actually, because I mean, it's a bathroom, for goodness sake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I am,
exactly.
so 1,000. Yeah.
1,000, make it, give it to somebody.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Chamber of Commerce was declined.
Yep.
The
Food bank.
food bank was given 500.
Write that one in. Community health, oh, they got the lot. Men's shed got all they wanted. Library, the toy library was 700. Did we want to give them any more?
Make it around 1,000.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that, but
Yeah,
What the other
definitely.
people think.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so we'll go to 1,000 for the toy library. The Te Awamutu Māori Women's Welfare League, they got all of theirs, didn't they? The Te Awamutu Rose Society.
It was given allocated $600.
Why don't we give them the whole lot? Because they're not likely to fundraise, let's be fair.
Yeah, and the other thing
They might
is
as well do the job.
that's how much they need to be able to do that. They haven't actually got any other money for that particular thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, full amount.
Cool. So 873.02. TA Rugby and Sports. Did we end up with their full amount or a bit less, didn't we?
We came up with $800.75.
Let's
So
give
you
them
want
a
to
whole
just
lot.
give them the whole lot?
Yeah.
Yep. The youth development, Te Awamutu youth development.
They were allocated $1,200.
I don't think that should change.
No.
Yeah, I'm happy with that staying
I
where
agree
it is.
with that.
Everyone else happy with that?
Yep.
Yep, we'll leave it at 12. Cool.
Yep.
The Te Tamawai Trust, we're still happy to decline that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Waikato Community Hospice Trust, they were at 1,600. Do you want to,
Bump
I'd
it up to
happily
2.
round it up.
Round it up.
Richard?
2.
2.
Yep. Okay,
Two.
let's go with that. They can have the whole lot. And the Shine Collective, they ended up with 680. Can we make that 1,000?
Yep. I'll agree with that.
They do a good job, and there are lots of kids that, you know, I know one class isn't a lot, but over the years that they've done it, they're starting to get, you know, some results from those kids, and the kids are coming back and saying really good things about it too.
And what happens to the Shine boys if that's the Shine girls? Where do they go?
They haven't got a Shine boys.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll go to next.
I know they were talking about trying to look into doing something, but at this point there's not. I must ask them again, because it'd be a good thing
Can
to
we?
do. But it's just numbers is hard.
Can we make sure that if they do not do the accountability, that they do not get anything next time?
Yeah, I think we need to tighten up on that. I agree with that, Richard, too. So are we happy with the amounts?
Yeah, just checking.
Just confirming, Madam Chair, is it going up to $1,000 for Zion Shine
Yes,
Collective?
please. Yeah.
And the Te Awamutu Māori Women's Welfare League was the full amount, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yep.
Was.
Good. Just making sure.
Yeah, no,
So-
they've got the full amount.
So that leaves you with a leftover amount of $9,205.15.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, there's still some that could come back to us. I just wanted to make a comment in regard to some of the comments that we've made tonight. And that was, I'm wondering if it's time for our form to be updated, because when you look at the questions that are asked on the form, if people are just answering those questions, sometimes they're not providing the right information. And so because I don't actually have a conflict on this comment that I'm going to make, and that the decision's been made, so I'm not making any impact on what has already been done, using the chamber as one example, they, I think, would have assumed we all knew what Midnight Madness was. So I think that it would be, it's a little bit unfortunate that they didn't explain more about what they wanted to do in the application, but instead where it said what are you going to use it for, they went to run a Midnight Madness event in November. So maybe we need to provide a little bit more room for people to elaborate and explain exactly what it is that they're going to do. They are working with, and because I couldn't say any of this, they're currently working with the thingy team at the council to do a traffic management. It is going to be like a Midnight Madness. So there's going to be rides, there are going to be some food trucks, they're going to work with the retailers to find a good balance of how that's going to work. So that's just
point of order, they're going to apply again, so it's probably not appropriate that you be actually sort of advocating for it now, because you're still
I'm not trying to advocate for it, I'm just trying to say, I was just using that as an example of not being able to put in enough information. They could have said they're organising a Midnight Madness event, which would include blah 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 blah. I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what a Midnight Madness event is, and maybe I've lived under a rock my whole life. But I don't think. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I don't think you can entirely blame.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying that using that one as an example, they did, there was a little bit of a error there of assumption. I think that, that was unfortunate, but there were some other things that you raised around but people providing more examples of their strategic direction. Well, if we're going to start to want some of that information, we actually need to probably ask them for it, don't we? Like there's nothing there that leads to that. And now that we've finished, MSD don't fund the rubbish bag and toiletries, which was why they asked for that money. But that so that's just on the FYI of how MSD works. Jill.
So we mentioned quite a lot. So this is just me being maybe a bit ignorant that the accountability wasn't done. So when they have received, people have received the money from us, then the accountability needs to be done so we can know what they've done with it and what's happened. So is that on the form, or do we ask them for it, or do we just expect it?
So Karen sends out a letter when they are given acknowledging how much money that we have agreed to give them, and on that letter there is also it's included to say that they need to complete the attached accountability form in regard to receipts, etc., of what they spent the money on.
Yeah,
so
and
if they very clear. Yeah.
And if they don't, if they don't do that, does that get followed up within 2 or 3 months to say, you haven't filled it in?
Kieran probably is the best person to speak to.
No, it isn't.
She looks after that.
Oh, okay. So do you think it should be Kieran, or?
I'd have to review that one.
Just give you another job.
Yeah.
In all honesty, these people are being given ratepayer funding. I don't think it's really up to council staff to follow them up and ask them to thank us and go through the hoops they have to jump through to fulfil the application. In all honesty, it's a fund that they're asking for. I don't think it's too hard to expect them to follow the procedure after they've been granted a fund. And it shouldn't be incumbent upon council staff to follow them up.
No, it probably shouldn't be, Susan, but I've spent the last 3 weeks with 7 businesses chasing them up too. So, yeah, a lot of people just don't do it. But I just thought, maybe it could be chased up once, but if it's not, it's not. It just, okay, thank you.
It could be something, Jill, it could be something that we add to the criteria, because it's not one of the conditions of the criteria. So maybe it could be included there.
Madam Chair, we still have to pass the motion to allocate the funding.
Yep, we do. Where the heck is that gone? Right, got it. Thanks, Kieran. I'd gone to the last page. I was getting a bit excited about finishing up. So can we please that firstly, that the Te Awamutu Community Board received the information contained in the report discretionary fund allocations for April 2022 from Kieran Phillips, Governance Officer, and B, allocate the grants from the Community Discretionary Fund as stated in the following schedule. You don't need me to have to read all that back out again, do I?
No.
Cool. Thank you. So can I have someone to move that, please? Lou, thank you. Someone to second it?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Susan. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Right, now I can go to the last page. But I do just wonder if it is worth making some tweaks to the forms to, to get that extra information for us.
Madam Chair, we do an annual review of that form, so that would be a good time to do it.
Yeah, I don't mean now. I'm just sort of sowing the seed. Yeah.
Madam Chair, I was wondering whether we could allow people to come along like in a public forum or in the forum just to speak to their application and be
Well, they
asked
are
questions.
allowed to, aren't they?
And we should promote that, because
Yeah.
you heard some things that you would like to have answered, and I heard things today
Yeah.
I would love to have answered. I certainly know a lot more than most people think, and particularly in 2 issues. And yeah, they could have been corrected, and people weren't misguided from them.
Yeah, yeah, and unfortunately, we can only go with the information that we have. And sometimes if we've got the wrong information, that's not really very fair. But it's life, I suppose. But yeah, so alrighty, we'll move on. Item 13, board members' reports from meetings attended on behalf of the Te Awamutu Community Board. Have we got anything there? Jill, how's your thingy going?
It is great. So this
Cool.
week I've got my 5th Wednesday. So I've been going every Wednesday, a fitness program with the students intermediate level. So I've got them from 4 different schools. That we've been doing it with an instructor from Jets Fitness behind the library. But to finish off the term, tomorrow night we've actually got it in the actual gym. So the kids are really excited about that.
Okay.
And yeah, they've just really enjoyed it, and the numbers have grown, and it's just been really exciting. I think I don't know whether I told you at the last meeting, but or shared it or not, but the first 2 times that I did it, when parents and grandparents were picking up kids, they just said what a wonderful initiative and how fantastic that I did think I did share this last time. Fantastic that it's something that the kids don't have to pay for, and they're enjoying it, and it's actually just getting them off the streets, because at the moment, that time of day, there's a lot of kids just wandering around the street not knowing what to do with themselves. So it's working really well. It'll go into next term, which Jets Fitness have said they're happy to do, and I've got some more plans for next term as well. But yeah, it's going really well. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool.
Madam Chair.
Yep. So,
Yeah, me.
Yep. Your
Okay,
turn.
just quickly, I'll do this anyway. Report on e-waste. We're still working on our e-waste, as you know. Had a very successful collection at the beginning of the month, and got rid of a lot of things. Just something to advertise amongst everybody, that we are now taking air conditioning units, or so that we can actually take those away from you, both the outside and the internal heat pump, so we can take the whole lot. We will have a charge if you haven't got the gas removed. Okay, but if you have the gas removed, and they usually do that when they take those older units out, they are a part of the e-waste cycling. We're talking about batteries, and just to put the fact about batteries, we are doing, of course, the milk bottles and the jam jars labels, where a person can buy the label, put it on it, and they can have those batteries in there, bring them back. The label actually pays for the recycling. So that is in place. But the last thing I want to raise is we are going to be short on the ground for our collection on the 1st of May. Now, Angela said she's okay. I've said I'm okay, but we will have to run the whole thing on our own. We will not have anyone from Cambridge there, and I have very few people from Rotary. So I was wondering whether just to postpone it for 1 month and let it go again in early June. So just a thought.
Cool. Thanks, Lou. Anyone else got anything, Richard?
Yeah, I attended a Walk of Fame meeting, and there are 3 people to be inducted. They've been their backgrounds and activities have been researched, and yeah, there'll be 3 of them coming in the near future.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Well, that'll be nice. And the PO will get it. I couldn't make it to that meeting, unfortunately. So where did we get to with getting the PO all fixed?
All of the writing and photos are being renewed, replaced.
Oh, cool.
And there will be some upgrades to what is written, with changes in the people's positions and so yeah, and that's going to be an ongoing thing every 5 years. they'll be looked at because they do deteriorate.
Yeah, they were looking a bit manky, some of them, weren't they?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. And then Lou and I have been having some discussions with some locals down at the dog park by Chatsfield Drive, when we had a meeting with Matt. He came down to have a look at the drain down there. They've actually sprayed it, and he was telling us and the locals that it's not going to look like the awful eyesore that it does currently, that there's plantings planned through that space in the next while. So those residents were very happy and pleased to see us, weren't they, Lou? And that we were taking their concerns seriously. So that went really, really well. I'm not sure, is there anything further that you want to add to that one, Lou?
Oh, just the fact that we'll keep in contact as a community board from you and from me as council with that group, because it's quite a group of residents. We had about 8, I think, initially, didn't we? 8 or 9
we did. Yep.
local residents, and that was good. And it's just a matter of walking along, talking to them all. And in doing that, they get a little bit more confidence in the fact that we do have a council that does care and does participate.
Yep.
So well done.
Yep. No, they were very appreciative. And we also spoke to, via email, one of the residents out at Oakridge who was concerned about the trees. So I actually just need to go back and touch base, but just sort of as a point of reference, and Brad can correct me if I've get my wires slightly crossed here, but basically what happens in the new developments is that the developers are responsible for looking after they are to plant trees. They have a list that they can choose from to plant as part of the streetscape, and they are responsible for looking after those trees for at least 2 years, and then after that council will take over the maintenance of the trees in the street. I've got that right, Brad, eh?
Yeah, generally, every developer agreement is slightly different. So the length of time can vary, but it's commonly 2 years. And then, yeah, from that point on, we expect the trees to be established and self-sufficient. We don't have, ongoing budget to water trees for a prolonged period of time or over several years with trees. So, yeah, that's definitely the case. And we are looking to do some work with our arborist planner, Chris Bucklebank, to sort of tailor make the list of street trees that is available to developers. Currently, they use what's called the RITS, which is a list that was generated by the Hamilton City Council, but we'd like to tailor it slightly further to allow for specific soils in Cambridge and Te Awamutu areas, so we get the right trees in the right spot.
That sounds like a good idea, because in this particular case, one of the local residents he'd taken on the responsibility for keeping the trees alive, because some of them were looking a bit sad around there when we had that long dry, like when we had that longer dry patch. Also on the issue of trees, I had contact from a lady in Wynyard Street who is having trouble with a Japanese walnut, but I haven't managed to be able to help her as yet, because it's not actually on the list of pest trees, so that one's a bit of a tricky one. The Rose Society got in contact with me in regard to wanting to meet with Shane and I around the working group and the survey. So we'll be touching base with them on either the 2nd or 3rd of May to have a chat with them and their views about how they see Te Awamutu, and hear from them. So I'm pretty sure that was probably my lot. So if there's no other meetings that we've attended, we'll move on to item 14, which will be the date of the next meeting. So the next community board meeting is to be held at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 10th of May, 2022. And it is 9:33, so that will be the official closing time of our meeting tonight. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been a big night.
Sorry.
Just quickly before you go, Jill, we just need to, if we can wait for 5 minutes to organise for a catch up about our annual plan submission. So